Crime is supposed to make sense, at least in stories. We like to believe good guys catch the bad guys, and justice always wins. But sometimes real crime is stranger than fiction. Sometimes the truth hides in plain sight, masked by lies so clever that even experts are left speechless. Imagine waking up in a safe neighborhood, only to find your world turned upside down by an unthinkable act. A person vanishes without a trace. A trusted leader is exposed as a fraud. Or a neighbor you thought you knew is revealed to be living a secret life. These are not just stories. They are reminders that the world is often darker and more mysterious than we want to believe. In this essay, you'll read about 3 crimes that shocked the world. Each one left investigators, families, and entire communities searching for answers. Each one proves that the truth, no matter how well hidden, has a way of forcing itself into the light. So, let's step inside these mysteries. Prepare to question what you know. Because sometimes, crime is not what it seems. On a chilly October evening, Margaret Ellis left her suburban home and vanished. She wore a gray jacket, told her husband she'd be back soon, but never returned. No one saw her leave, and no cameras caught her passing by. All that remained was a cryptic slip of paper in her coat. The case became a sensation, but answers never came. The cryptic clue found in Margaret's coat became the focus of the investigation. The paper had just 9 characters, K4G7R1. Detectives showed it to codebreakers and psychologists. Was it a password, coordinates, a warning? No one could crack it. It haunted investigators, a puzzle with no solution. Margaret's husband clung to hope. He appeared on talk shows, begging for help. The media swarmed the family's home. Internet forums buzzed with theories. Some believed Margaret had staged her own disappearance. Others whispered about a stalker. Theories only deepened the mystery, but brought no real answers. Investigators traced Margaret's last steps. They found she had visited the local library and withdrawn a book about hidden symbols. Cameras showed her speaking to a man in a dark coat. He was never identified. Every detail seemed to raise more questions. The search grew frantic. Then, a breakthrough. A sharp-eyed officer connected the code to a map grid used by local hikers. The combination K4G7R1 marked a point deep in the forest. Search teams rushed out, hearts pounding. The world held its breath, waiting for what they would find. At dawn, searchers reached the forest grid point. There, beneath a tangle of roots, they found a buried metal box. Inside was Margaret's phone, her wedding ring, and a journal, pages filled with shaky handwriting. She had left behind a confession, a truth no one saw coming. Margaret's journal revealed a life lived in fear. She wrote of feeling watched, of someone from her past haunting her. She explained the code was a desperate attempt to lead her family to the truth. She had staged her own disappearance, hoping to protect her loved ones from a threat she believed was real. But the threat was not a person. It was mental illness. Margaret's writings described vivid paranoia, hallucinations, and growing terror. She wrote of her guilt at leaving her family, but also her conviction that it was the only way to keep them safe. The case that shocked the nation ended not with a criminal, but with the tragedy of a mind at war with itself. The truth devastated her family and the community. Yet, it brought a strange peace. The mystery was solved. The world realized that sometimes, the enemy is not out there. It is within. The search for truth had uncovered not a crime, but a hidden battle. Across the ocean, another kind of crime was unfolding. Victor Langley was a name everyone trusted. He built his company from nothing, or so it seemed, and became a symbol of success. His charity galas raised millions. His speeches inspired thousands. But behind the glitz, Victor hid a secret that would bring the world to its knees. For years, Victor's company, Langley Dynamics, was hailed as a global innovator. The business magazines could not praise him enough. Investors poured in money, eager for a piece of the next big thing. Employees believed in his vision, but it was all smoke and mirrors. The profits were lies, the products faked, the numbers manipulated. Victor's deception was masterful. He silenced doubters with lavish gifts and clever accounting. He forged documents, bribed officials, and even created fake clients. The company's success was a carefully constructed illusion. But the bigger the lie grew, the harder it became to hide. The cracks finally began to show when a junior accountant stumbled onto irregularities. She was threatened, then fired. But she kept digging, sharing her evidence with a journalist. The story exploded. The world learned that Victor's empire was built on fraud. Lives were ruined, fortunes lost, and trust shattered. Victor Langley's public persona was flawless. He drove luxury cars, mingled with celebrities, and made headlines for his generosity. But, the real Victor was a master manipulator. He cultivated loyalty through fear and charm. Employees who questioned him disappeared from the company. Auditors were given the runaround. Even his closest allies knew only what he wanted them to know. Inside the company, a culture of silence ruled. Staff were told to ignore inconsistencies. Bonuses were dangled as rewards for loyalty. The books were expertly cooked, with fake invoices and shell companies hiding the missing millions. Victor's charm blinded even seasoned investors. The fallout was global. Pension funds evaporated. Small businesses that supplied Langley Dynamics went bankrupt. The media called it the Mirage Meltdown. Families lost their savings. Former employees faced public shame, their careers destroyed by association. Victor was finally arrested at a private airstrip, trying to flee the country. He showed no remorse. Even as he was led away in handcuffs, he smiled for the cameras. His trial revealed the staggering scale of his lies. But the story also exposed how easily people can be fooled when they want to believe in success. In the quiet suburb of Maple Grove, no one suspected John West. He was a loving husband, a caring father, and a regular at church. He coached his son's soccer team and hosted backyard barbecues. To neighbors, John was the picture of normalcy. But behind closed doors, he lived a life no one could imagine. John worked as an IT technician at a local bank. But after dark, he became someone else. He ran an underground network, stealing financial data and selling it online. The money rolled in, paying for vacations and expensive gifts. He told his family the cash came from freelance work. His secret life grew bolder with each crime. For years, no one noticed. John covered his tracks with skill. But then, a routine audit at the bank uncovered strange patterns. Security footage caught John accessing restricted files late at night. Suspicion grew. Investigators set a trap, watching as John logged in one last time. The arrest shocked everyone. John's wife fainted when police arrived. His children cried as he was taken away. Neighbors refused to believe it. But the evidence was overwhelming. The double life of John West became national news. A tale of trust betrayed and innocence lost. The fallout from John West's arrest was immediate. His family was hounded by reporters. Friends turned away, unable to process the betrayal. The bank faced questions about how such a crime went undetected for so long. The community felt the sting of loss, not just of a neighbor, but of their sense of safety. John's trial revealed a man torn in two. On the stand, he wept for his family, but showed little remorse for his victims. He claimed he needed the money to give his children a better life. But the jury saw through his excuses. He was sentenced to years in prison, his double life finally exposed. Neighbors struggled to move on. Some blamed themselves for missing the signs. Others became suspicious of everyone around them. John's family moved away, seeking a fresh start. The scars of his deception would last for years. The story became a warning. Evil can hide in the ordinary. Sometimes, the most dangerous secrets are kept by those we trust the most. But no matter how well hidden the lies, the truth cannot stay buried forever. Each of these stories begins with a lie, a vanishing act, a tower of fraud, a house built on secrets. Each crime seemed perfect, unsolvable, uncatchable, impossible to believe. But the truth was always there, waiting to be found. It crept through the cracks, revealed by a clue, a conscience, or a slip in the mask. The power of truth is relentless. It exposes even the cleverest criminals. It brings peace to the grieving and justice to the wronged. But truth also brings pain. It shatters illusions and challenges what we think we know about the world and each other. In the end, these stories remind us that justice is never simple. Sometimes justice means understanding the darkness within. Sometimes it means rebuilding trust after it is destroyed. But always, it means facing the truth, no matter how painful or strange. So we keep searching. We hold on to hope that truth will win. Because even in the darkest crime, the light of truth waits to be found, and it will not be silenced.